Yes, when we started, we kind of closed 3 businesses in 5 months. And then suddenly there was some idea which we presented to Wipro. And they said that, why do you want to share these ideas with others? You should do it yourself.
Welcome back to Let's Ascend, a channel where you get perspectives on rising up in your personal and professional life. My today's guest is Sunil Goyal, who heads the India operations of Sopra Steria. Sopra Steria is a global IT services firm with almost 50,000 people globally and has about 6,000 people in India. Sunil had founded the India entity in 1993, which became Sopra Steria through a series of mergers and acquisitions. Sunil is a spiritually inclined leader who believes a lot of his success has come through good luck and the grace of the universe. During my conversation, Sunil shared some valuable life lessons that helped him rise up. And in line with the tradition of Let's Ascend, Sunil summarized his journey through a beautiful song. Not only this, Sunil sang a couple of lines from this song even though he's not a singer. So I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so welcome Sunil. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today at Let's Ascend. Great to have leaders like you sharing their journey with us.
Thank you, Vishal, for inviting me and being part of this. Thank you very much.
So Sunil, I think it'll be great if you could, begin by telling us about your journey so far.
If I just start at the beginning, my father, he was the first graduate from his village. And then he moved out from the village. He did his CA in 1965, moved to different locations in India for his job, right from South to Central India, then in UP. So that's where I grew up and I did my education in different parts of the country. Then I moved to Delhi in 83, did my schooling here. And then from here, I went to IIT Roorkee. I mean, in those days, it was called University of Roorkee, and that was in 85. Finished my engineering in 89, and then I joined the telecom group of UB Group. Obviously, UB is more known for liquor than telecom, but maybe that's the reason why I did not succeed. And then moved to Wipro, worked there for 2 years, and then the entrepreneur bug struck me. So we ventured into entrepreneurship in 93. I was 26 at that time. We got into different businesses. We'll speak about it slightly later, Vishal. Got into software. Then our company became part of a Scottish company called Newell & Budge in 2005, which very quickly got acquired by Sopra Group. Now it's called Sopra Steria. That was 2005 when we were around 100 people. Then we grew the business in India to around 1,500 people. It was an offshore center. My other 2 partners left, but I decided to stay back because I got still to work as an entrepreneur within a corporate structure. Because this question I get asked many times, that why after being an entrepreneur for the tough 12, 13 years in the beginning, now you don't want to start something again where the environment is fully conducive for entrepreneurship. So anyways, I still get to work as an entrepreneur. And then in 2015, Sopra announced a global merger with Steria, another French company. And I got the responsibility to head the merged venture in India. And we did a successful merger that was from 2015 to 2017. Today, I head 2 operations in India. One is a services arm of ours called Sopra Steria India Limited, which has around 4,700, 4,800 people across Noida, Chennai, Pune, and Bangalore. And then we have Sopra Banking Software Solutions India, which is doing a platform development for our banking software, which is sold mainly in Europe, Middle East, Africa. So we have around 1,000 people for this company based out of Noida and Pune. On the personal side, I have got 2 kids. My daughter, she got married in February. She is settled. She's working with one of the consulting companies. My son graduated in the US from UT Austin, and he's also right now working in the US with one of the large companies there. till class 8, I was in day board. I mean, I was in a day school, but I got into a boarding school in class 9 in St. Joseph's, Nainital. And there are many things which I learned there, but one of the things which possibly I would like to share with the audience, Vishal, is, at the end of class 9, when I finished, my English teacher, who happened to be the class teacher also, he used to teach us mathematics too, he called my dad to the school. And I was surprised at why is he calling where I was doing pretty well in my studies. And then in front of my dad, he started telling my dad, see, Sunil is doing extremely well in all subjects, number 1 or number 2 in the class. But in English, he is just getting 53, 54 marks, which actually can bring down his complete percentage. I come from a background where, like as I said, my father was the first graduate. My mother had only studied up to class 4. So obviously at our house, we used to speak in Hindi or Marwadi, and English was not something which was spoken. Next question from my dad to my teacher was, then how do I do it? He said, nothing, you need to get him English books. You need to make him read the editorial in the newspaper and then get him to say English movies, etc. If he does this during his winter vacations, I'm sure it will help him. Yeah, I did a lot of that in those 2-3 months which I had. Obviously, initially, if I read half a page of the novel, I used to feel asleep because most of the words I didn't understand, and I had to take up the dictionary to see them. And English songs, if I tried to listen to them, I didn't understand even a word. In English movies, they were beyond me. I couldn't see even for more than 10 minutes. But then whatever, that hard work I put in my 10th, which was an ICSA exam, I actually ended up scoring 86 in my English from 53. Same thing, when we started working for our North American customers, I used to be very shy of, will I be able to understand the English accent? I used to tell the customer, if I didn't understand, can you please repeat? Rather than many times as Indians, we are very shy of telling someone to repeat something or telling a no. But then I said, no, I'm not able to understand. Can you repeat? And then I did a lot of other efforts. So that's what I want to tell the audience, that, everything is possible. If you have that zeal to learn, if you will fail, but there is no shortcuts to hard work, patience, and perseverance. Many a times we see where a person has reached, but that's only 10% of the iceberg. The 90% is below it. This was around 12 years back when, my recruitment head came to me and said, so we have this excellent candidate who's, seems to be technically very, very good, but his English is very bad. What do I do? Because the technical interviewer who's interviewed him doesn't want to select him because he's going to work for a customer where English should be very good. I said, fine, let me interview him. So this guy told me he comes from Jhansi. His father is running a grocery shop. So that was his background, almost similar like ours. And I said, no, I think if I could improve myself, why can't this guy do it? So I interviewed him and I said, okay, whatever money I'm going to give you, the 1,000 rupees out of that, you should go to an institute or a school where they help you to improve your English. And I will reimburse you that part of money only after you give me the bills. Now, I kept that patience. I did that for almost a year. And today he's one of the best architects I have in my organization. English is absolutely not a problem. He's gone and, worked in the UK for a couple of years. But what I want to tell people, there is huge population which is in our villages, tier 2 towns, who are extremely smart, very intelligent, maybe better than us. But just since if their English is not good, let's not evaluate their intelligence with their command on English. While I was at Wipro, that's where I met my future business partner, Pankaj, who was 1 year senior to me at college, and then he had gone to IIM Bangalore. But we both ended up at Wipro. And when we were working at Wipro, we started discussing, what we need to do. We discussed that for almost 2 years. And we were not able to reach a conclusion what we are going to do because, Vishal, those days the salaries were like 4,000-5,000 rupees, so you didn't have any money in your pocket to do anything. But one fine day, Pankaj, he came to me on 31st of March, 93, and he said, Sunil, I'm resigning tomorrow. I said, what are we going to do? He said, we don't know. I said, okay, fine. And I said, okay, I'm going to resign on 1st of April. And I did that. My daughter was 25 days old that time because I got married in 92. That sheer fire in the belly that I have to do something on my own made this happen. When I went to my dad and said, Dad, this is what I've done, because I was still staying with him. He said, it's all fine, Sunil, I'll support you, but as long as you're happy with that dal roti, it's perfectly okay. Don't ask for anything more. And I'm there, you're staying in this house, is perfectly fine. Yes, when we started, we kind of closed 3 businesses in 5 months. Even those 25 years, 30 years back, we had that agility that we started with something, it did not work. And that's what I want to tell the future entrepreneurs or even in business, that, be passionate about what you want to do. Don't be passionate about your idea because, that may really not succeed. And that's what happened with our first 3 businesses. We had to close down because that did not work. And then suddenly there was some idea which we presented to Wipro. And they said that, why do you want to share these ideas with others? You should do it yourself. Extremely great support, Vishal, we got from Wipro. Hats off to the leadership there, Mr. Azim Premji, the kind of leadership he has created. Today, wherever we are, I think a lot of credit goes to them. And we became actually notebook dealers for Wipro, which we had never thought when I had resigned on that 1st April. Anyways, we became one of the top resellers for notebooks and we took the complete dealership, etc. In 3 years' time, we became the number 2 dealer in Northern India and among the top 10 in the country. Now, I would just like to take a pause here and tell people that, yes, we need to have a strategy, but don't just get stuck to it and say that this is the only thing which I'm going to do. And I think it's ultimately the gut feel and that intuition which tells you that when do you need to give up. Pankaj and I used to discuss a lot, okay, what is our future vision? And Pankaj used to say that, no, I want to create a 100 crore company. And I used to tell him that he must be a crazy guy, 100 crore company. In those days, the banks, they were not even giving a lakh rupees as a debt or as a loan unless you had collaterals, etc. But I think what happens is when you keep your aim like that, you are constantly, looking, whenever there is an opportunity, at least you're ready to take hold of that. For example, when Wipro told us that, I will make you notebook dealers, we took that opportunity and then started working on it and then did other things. Then in the year 99, Pankaj came and said, Sunil, I think now I want to give up hardware business because it's become more like a commodity, because when we started, the margins were very high. And in 98, 99, it had come down to like 4-5%. And then we started software business. What we decided at that point of time, which was a very bold decision, because whatever we say, 90% of the business which was happening that time was body shopping. And Pankaj said, Sunil, I'm not going to do body shopping at all because whether doing shopping of machines or shopping of body, it's the same. So I want to get into offshore development. In 2000, we got funding from City Ventures. Again, I would say we were very lucky, Vishal, because this happened in August of 2000. And we know that what happened in 2001, one was the dot-com doom. Then there was the 9/11 which happened. It completely changed businesses. And what really helped us was because we were very clear we're not doing body shopping, we are doing only offshore services. So actually the dot-com doom did not have any impact on us because customers were very, very happy to, outsource the work here and we were already, prepared for it. We underestimate the impact of luck. If we had not got the funding in 2000, August 2001, it all dried up, it finished. So I think we were very lucky to get that funding at the right time. We were there at the right place, right opportunity and right thing. Second is Vancouver, when we selected it, it was again more by luck than anything else. And, when we got our funding from Citi and we wanted to establish our office in the US, before that, Pankaj used to go to, US on business visa for short-term periods, go there for 2-3 months and come back. And his brother was based in Seattle. So he used to stay with him and evaluate the things. So his brother asked him, why don't you apply for PR for Canada? Because those days it was easy. So Pankaj did apply and he had got his PR in 2000. When the funding came in and we started thinking about where we need to establish our office, so Pankaj said, Sunil, I have PR for Canada and the closest place from Seattle is Vancouver. So let's go and establish an office there. Now, in those days, most of the IT companies had their office on the Eastern Coast, both in the US as well as in Canada. Definitely, we were very lucky because at that time, none of the tier 1 Indian IT companies were there. We were selling offshore at a rate which was almost close to onshore rate. So that kept our operations pretty profitable, and we were able to get good rates. Obviously, we also delivered to our customers back. So many a times things just happen without a strategy and it works for you. Many years back, I met Sri Ravi Shankar, someone of my friends had taken to him. And one of the things which used to always strike me, okay, I don't have any problem. Everything is going well in life. So I asked this question, I don't have any problem. Is that a problem in itself? And he said such a simple line, Vishal. He said, oh, if you don't have any problem, why don't you go and solve others' problems? And Vishal, this is what I think we all should do. Even if we have problems, we should try to solve others' problems. But I think when you go and say, वो कहते हैं कि आपको अपना दुख बड़ा लगता है, but जब आप जाके दुनिया का दुख देखते हैं, वो और भी बहुत बड़ा है. Today, when we have become, somewhere capable of helping others, we should not lose an opportunity to do it. Just 2.5 years back, when a person approached me on LinkedIn, the person said, I come from a village and I have done my engineering and I required some help from you. His father, who was a farmer in a small village near Riva, he was able to get him the engineering education. He had actually won an award of 25,000 rupees for mathematics when he was in second year, etc. But after passing out, he's finding it extremely tough to get a job. And he did his engineering from electrical. And he said, sir, I want to stick to my core. I don't want to take up IT, etc. So can you help me to get a job? So I said, okay, let me take this responsibility. I got his resume. And then I started talking to a couple of my colleagues friends who work in manufacturing industry. I tried through all of them for almost 2-3 months, but unfortunately, I could not get him a job. Then ultimately, I went to my dad because he had worked in a manufacturing industry for long, and I said, Dad, I need to get him a job. So anyways, we finally managed to get him placed in JK Tire through Team Lease. For him, it was something like, the world opened out to him. And when he traveled from, this small village to Delhi, obviously he got exposed and experienced to so many things which he had never done earlier. And just 3 days back, he called me up and said, sir, now I've got an opportunity to work with one of the largest hotel chains in India. And the salary now they're giving me, they are doubling up the salary, but I can definitely see a career. And believe me, Vishal, the happiness I got possibly is even 10 times or 100 times more than if they had doubled my salary here. Today, there are more than 15, 16 children who've come from some background like I just told to you, but they were from IT. So if I give you some examples, there is one girl whose mother used to sell milk in Alwar, and she did her MCA but was not able to get a job. So we gave her an internship at Sopra, did that for a year. Obviously did mentoring, etc. But then she got absorbed at Sopra itself. Today, now she's working with some global company in Gurgaon at almost 10 lakhs per annum, which is, I would say, that's possibly would now change a complete generation at her place. There's a person whose father was a carpenter at one of my friends' office. He came to me with a similar request, and we did the same thing for him. Today, he's still working with me as a senior engineer and at a pretty good salary. So in the last 4-5 years now, my team, along with support from the group, we've been able to transform, life of these 17, 18 students. Even if we can make a difference in one person a year, I think, Vishal, that can go a long, long way. And this is what I tell these people where we've helped them in some way. And I tell them that the only thing I want in return is if you can go and change a life of one more person, that's sufficient. And that's what I tell my people at Sopra, that today we are 6,000 people. And if all 6,000 of you make a difference in one person's life, we would have changed life of 6,000 people.
Earlier you were talking about that you've been extremely lucky. Now I know why you've been extremely lucky, right? When you are in a position of power, and if you can help someone, which you and your organization have done in past, and it all comes back to you in different shapes and forms, which is why your organization is so successful, which is why you are. So I think that's very clearly where this luck is coming from. At least I get that clear answer. We have a tradition in Let's Ascend where we try and summarize each video with a song that summarizes the journey or the things you believe in. So I would request you to tell us which song best summarizes your journey or your beliefs. That's one. And second is, we'll request you to sing a few lines for us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vishal. In fact, when I look back at this 30 years, Vishal, many a times we all go through tough times when things are very bad. and we think that the world has stopped, everyone is against us, nothing is going to happen. And one of the things which my dad has always told me, and Sunil, trust in God. There is someone who's there, who's doing something which today you may not realize what is good in it, but in the future you will realize what is good in that. And trust me, when he used to tell me, I used to say, me, how can it be there? I'm in such a tough problem, such an issue, I'm in such a big mess. But now when I see back, and every time he has told me this, and I analyze that instance or I analyze that situation, I can really see that yes, what he told me was right. There have been so many situations when I thought that the things are finished, but when you trust someone, I mean, you can give it any name and go on putting your efforts. I think it really helps you. This is where this song, kind of sounds very very apt to me, Vishal, which is रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बहार के रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बहार